What up, five fans, and welcome back to the MMA channel with me, Marisol. Today I am doing an end-of-year Q&A. This is essentially the final installment of the MMA Mailbag for this year, but there will be plenty of others that I will be doing in the coming year. And this was a bit of an impromptu video. I did ask those who follow me on Instagram to send in their questions, so I got a good mix of different MMA questions and like one really personal, inspirational one. But make sure to follow me on Instagram because I do often ask people to send in questions on that platform, and I also do Q&As in my Instagram stories as well every so often that don't make it onto YouTube. So I'll go ahead and link my account down below and make sure to give me a follow on there as well. But for now, let's get into these questions because they were quite an interesting mix. So the first question is, what are my thoughts on Claudia Gadelha versus Alexa Grasso? So that fight is coming up, and I think it's going to be a very interesting one. We last saw Alexa Grasso fight against Carla Esparza, and she looked phenomenal in that fight. Even though she did end up losing by decision, she showed a lot of heart, and it was a highly entertaining fight as well. So I think that when it comes to seeing her fight again, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think that she's going to bring a lot of energy and a lot of entertainment value to her next fight and to any fight that she does end up having in the future. Now, when it comes specifically to her against Claudia Gadelha, I think that it's going to be a bit of a difficult one for her. So Alexa Grasso is more of a boxer, more of a striker, which makes sense. Boxing is huge in Mexican culture, so it makes sense that she would have such a strong background in that. And then she does have a bit of a grappling background as well. She is ranked purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. However, we have that against Claudia Gadelha, who is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I mean, black belt says it all. So I think that at this point, we could end up seeing, I feel like it's kind of tale old as time when it comes to MMA, where grappler takes down striker, and then we have ground and pound or a win via submission. I think that could be the case. However, like I said, Alexa Grasso does have a lot of heart. She does have that grappling background, and sometimes purple belts can contend with black belts. I've known many a purple belt, well, not many a purple belt, but I've known purple belts who have submitted black belts. So it is possible that a purple belt can contend with a black belt, and then when you throw in the mixture of MMA, things do change. The dynamic is a bit different. So given that, plus her heart, I think ultimately it could be a very entertaining fight. And who knows? It is MMA. You never know how it's going to go, but ultimately I do see it easily going to Claudia Gadelha. Which one fighter would you love to visit for the holidays? This is a really interesting question, a bit of a fun one. And after giving it some thought, I would love to visit Valentina Shevchenko. So if you follow Valentina Shevchenko on Instagram, then you will know that she spent the holidays in Thailand and essentially training, which is so badass. She spent the holidays training. So I think that I would love to visit her and spend the holidays with her. One, not only because I've never been to Thailand, so that would be super cool to finally go to Thailand, but then also to see where she trains and maybe even practice a little bit of Muay Thai, which is definitely out of my element, so that would be fun. But then also being able to just hang out with her, talk to her, and get to know her a little bit as well, since she is so talented, so skilled, and you can tell that she works so hard. And just being around that type of personality, I think, would be absolutely amazing. And just to see some of the work ethic behind what she's done in order to achieve what she has achieved. So I think that would be super cool. Why is 2019 the best year for MMA according to your point of view? So this is also another interesting question. To be clear, I've never said that 2019 is the best year for MMA. But to pose that question and to pose as to whether or not it is the best year for MMA, I think is interesting. And it also depends on the criteria. Like, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about the most entertaining fights ever in MMA? Did they happen this year? Did we have the most mega fights? Was the most history made in MMA in this year? How are we really defining this? And then also, are we looking at just the UFC, or are we looking at different organizations as well? Because in the last year, we have seen other organizations come into a bit more prominence as well. So we can argue as to whether or not that is good for MMA and the sport in general. And that could be a factor as well. We've also seen MMA fighters, UFC fighters, go from the UFC to Bellator specifically. So that is interesting. I think we've definitely had a very entertaining year. I think there has been some great history being made, especially with specific fighters in this last year. And definitely some more traction and movement with USADA. So I think overall it's been an interesting year, but to say it's the best year for MMA, I am hesitant to make that claim. But I think it's an interesting thing to say, and ultimately I think it needs a little bit more thought, a little bit more research than just this little segment in this video. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think 2019 has been the best year for MMA? I'm hesitant to say that, but let me know what you guys think. All right, next question. What do you think is next for Amanda Nunes? So this question is both simple and difficult to answer at the same time. Simple because both Nunes and Dana White have said that the next thing for her is to defend her 145 belt. The difficult thing in that question is that who in the world is Amanda Nunes supposed to fight at 145? She has effectively cleaned out that division and essentially has done that by cleaning out the 135 division. So both of those divisions she has completely dominated. And when we look at the rankings, which I've said this in other videos as well, but when you look at the rankings on the UFC website, there's nobody listed underneath there for the 145 division. So who the top contender is, no one really knows. And then we look at the 145 division, who is in it. We have Megan Anderson, who has fought 145 multiple times, which I just don't think that would be a compelling fight for Nunes. Then we have Felicia Spencer, who could be an interesting fight with Nunes if she were to be able to take the fight to the ground. Felicia Spencer is a phenomenal grappler, so that could be an interesting grappling match to witness. But the rub is, could she even take her down and get past the striking to get to the grappling? Probably not. So I don't think that is quite a compelling fight for Amanda Nunes either. So at this point, I think if they were to bring in some new talent into that division, it could be interesting. But for now, I just have no idea who she is supposed to fight in the 145 division, given that those are the two people who are solidly in the 145 division. And then we had Jermaine Randomie, who just lost to her in the 135 division, who has fought in the featherweight division. Holly Holm, same situation. Other fighters have now left the UFC ultimately. So who's she supposed to fight? You tell me who she's supposed to fight, and then I'll let you know who's supposed to go for her. But at the moment, it's kind of like no man's land. So we'll see. What inspires you right now? Right, so there are quite a lot of different things that inspire me at, in this moment. One of them, a huge motivational, inspirational factor in my life at the moment, is just seeing other people succeed. I've noticed this sort of trend over the years, especially in moments where I was feeling very lazy, very unproductive, and just burnt out and didn't want to do anything. I realized that when I would watch other people who are successful, especially on YouTube, it would motivate me to get up off the couch, get up off my bed, don't take any naps, and just get back to work. Two people that I follow that aren't necessarily in this industry, so to speak. I mean, they're YouTubers, but they don't talk about MMA. They're lifestyle and beauty bloggers. They are Lydia Lees Millen and In The Fro. They are highly successful UK bloggers, YouTubers, Instagrammers, what have you, content creators. And seeing them produce content so consistently, seeing them share their lifestyles and sort of the fruits of their labor essentially is absolutely inspirational, because I watch their videos and all I can think is, I want that. I want to have that. I want to be able to create that for myself. And seeing the amount of work that also goes behind what they do is highly inspirational as well. Other things that do inspire me are also just getting back in tune with the things that I've always been passionate about. So for me, that's been creative writing, that's been certain music. Not that I've ever made music in my life, but just seeing other people be creative, which I do find that a lot in music. But also in reading and like I said, writing, and getting back in touch with that side of me inspires me to also create more, either with videos like this, whether it's social media content or just creative writing that I keep for now to myself. So yeah, that's what inspires me. Do you think Amanda Nunes or Valentina Shevchenko will lose their championships in the next year? So simple answer to this is no. They will not lose their belts in the next year. And when we talk about Amanda Nunes, the reason for that being is, as I just said previously in this video, she's cleaned out both of her divisions, and unless the UFC brings in new talent, she will definitely remain champion in both of those divisions. Now, once we see what is going to happen to the featherweight division for women, then then that's a different conversation that we can have. But for now, Amanda Nunes is safe. Her belts are safe. And I feel, frankly, the same way for Valentina Shevchenko. I don't really see anybody on the roster in any of the top contenders that can easily defeat her. She's also defeated a lot of them as well. So I really don't see anyone who could easily take the belt from her. Now, as the year goes on, as people develop and get better, then we can have a different conversation and see who's looking good in the flyweight division. But for now, I think she's going to be fine. I know she does have a fight lined up against Chukugian. Correct me if I'm wrong in pronouncing her last name in the comments down below. But I don't see that fight going in the way for Chukugian. I think that Valentina is going to be perfectly fine in that fight as well. So, just to reiterate, I think that both Valentina and Amanda Nunes will remain champs for a while. Frankly, I think they're going to be very dominant champions. Alright, so that is my final MMA mailbag for the year. Thank you everyone who sent in questions. I like how they were a bit of a mix with some inspirational and just some personal ones as well. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below of everything that I said. And also I'm curious to know what inspires you, what is it that motivates you and inspires you to do what you do and to be more and to be better in any kind of way. Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, don't forget to like this video and to subscribe for more content. And I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season, and I will be seeing you